Joining us now to talk much more about this is attorney Sidney Powell. She is General Flynn's attorney. Sidney, great to see you again.
Thanks, John. Good to see you.
We also want to mention your book, Conviction Machine, Standing Up to the Federal Prosecutorial Abuse, something we've also talked about. And, this is a great case in point of prosecutorial abuse. You've said that the FBI knew they were making up this case. How confident are you that the FBI will be held accountable, or someone at the FBI will be held accountable?
Well, they certainly better be held accountable, or we can kiss the rule of law goodbye. As strongly as Attorney General Barr feels about the importance of the rule of law, I can't imagine there will not be people, even at the highest levels of the FBI or formerly at the highest levels of the FBI, held accountable for this egregious government misconduct and, frankly, criminal conduct for their obstruction of justice, false statements, perjury in front of Congress, lying to the courts, any number of things, including prosecutors on the special counsel team who made up this offense and proceeded with it despite having all the evidence in their file that showed there wasn't one.
Now, we seem to be able to draw, a kind of a pattern here if you look at what took place under Director James Comey and what, still may be taking place at the FBI now. What do you think? President Trump, we just saw that report that he's unlikely to fire Christopher Wray. Do you think Christopher Wray needs to be fired, regardless of this election upcoming?
I do think he needs to be fired. I think he needs to be fired immediately. I thought he should have never been hired. In fact, please note that he was Andrew Weissman's supervisor when Andrew Weissman was running roughshod over the rights of everyone in Houston, destroyed Arthur Anderson and 85,000 jobs for absolutely nothing on a made-up crime, and then sent 4 innocent Merrill Lynch executives to prison on a made-up offense while they hid the evidence that showed they were innocent. And then Wray sought the Attorney General's Award of Excellence for Mr. Weissman. He's a friend of Comey and Mueller to the point when they were all in DOJ. Wray wanted to know if they were going to jump ship to let him know first so he could go with them.
What do you think? What's your level of confidence in Attorney General William Barr and the ongoing Durham probe that we have into this the origins of the Russian probe?
Well, given the evidence that's being produced now, obviously the Durham probe is having significant success, and Mr. Jensen was the right person to appoint to review the entire Flynn file. I've always thought the world of Bill Barr. My only concern has been how long it's been taking to see results of anything being done. So my confidence is increasing, the more evidence is produced to us that shows what exactly went on.
Now, we both know that by and large, most people that work at the FBI are good people. They have the interest in the American public at heart. But, we have a right as Americans to not question the political nature of the most powerful investigative branch in the country. Sidney, how do we make sure that's actually what's going to happen in the long run?
Well, I'm not sure anymore that most are what they should be. I think the culture has long been inbred of arrogance and hubris beyond measure. Their notion that they can do whatever they want because they are FBI agents. This isn't an isolated case. It's been going on for 20 years, as I document in License to Lie, exposing corruption in the Department of Justice. And I think even John Durham has expressed great concern over the culture in the FBI and the fact that apparently there are not very many people there that are willing to step forward and do the right thing, which tells us the problem is much deeper and more widespread than we thought it was. Why weren't whistles blown all over the place, and not just on this case, but a lot of others across the nation throughout U.S. attorneys' offices and FBI offices?
The questions, now when we're getting this information, they seem so obvious. Of course, everything's obvious in hindsight. But this is the type of stuff that keeps you up at night when you think about, the investigations that are ongoing and the way that some of these officials have been targeted. We'll have to have you back, Sidney, to talk about some more because we know more developments are coming. What's the latest and what you're hearing about, a possible pardon, anything like that? We've heard President Trump, hint at this. Are you hearing anything on that front?
Well, as I have maintained from day one of my appearance in this case, General Flynn needs to be fully exonerated. The FBI made up the alleged false statements. They were determined to get him fired or prosecute him, and they were willing to do whatever it took to do that, including falsifying the 302 report on which the alleged false statements were based, and not writing down the things he did say while they wrote down things he did not say to create that false narrative. It's got to be punished with criminal prosecutions if we want to stop this kind of conduct. So Flynn should be exonerated. He is not guilty of anything. He was coerced into the guilty plea with threats of indicting his son the next day if he didn't sign the document. It's hideous.
Hideous is a good word for it. Sidney Powell, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing news channel, now in 65 million homes. Get Newsmax TV on all the major cable systems or go to newsmaxtv.com and click on the Find Newsmax tab to locate us. Remember, Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.